He is Jake Hatch of Locked On Cougars, and he is here as just kind of like a test dummy. We're going to go through my best bets in the Big 12 this week, Jake, if that's okay with you.
I make my own picks every single week, so I'm excited to actually, be able to play like the peanut gallery to yours.
All right, number one then. I'm going to go with Baylor money line at TCU. Now, look, here's what you're thinking. That's an insane pick. How in the world will the rival go on the road and win? I think a couple things working in Baylor's favor here. People are also like, oh, he's the Baylor grad. I don't give two hoots. Like, it just doesn't benefit me whatsoever to wax poetic about the Bears. I'm just giving you what I think is going to happen this week. I believe that Baylor has an opportunity to win this game, not just because of Sawyer Robertson. I saw how kind of putrid TCU looked against Kansas State last week. And also, the Baylor Bears, Jake, are much better on the road than they are at home. And a piece of that, Dave Aranda talks about it. His team feeds off the away crowd better than they do the home crowd. And for TCU, I don't think the home crowd's going to give them too much juice.
Here's the thing. TCU, I don't know what's wrong with them, quite honestly. Something's broken, though. It's not working. Speaking of the Horned Frogs, I actually really like that pick. I do think Baylor gets the win, and I think it's going to be fairly convincing.
Yeah, I do too. And I do like TCU. I love Josh Hoover. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks still in the Big 12.
Hoover's great individually. I'm just saying the entire, I guess, the entire product that TCU's got right now, it's not functioning the way I feel like it should be. But Baylor, I think, absolutely has the GOAT here.
Yeah, also, Baylor has the best offensive skill room, I think, in the Big 12, whether it's Bryson Washington all the way to Josh Cameron and those receivers, Kobe Prentice. I mean, you can name a myriad of those four guys. Michael Trigg is the best tight end in the Big 12 as well. Baylor's got a lot of options. They'll piece apart the TCU defense. 70 points, take the over. That's my first best bet. Jake agrees. I'm going to go Houston. -1.5 against Arizona. This is a pick that I was on early in the year. Anybody who's listened to this show will remember that I told you if there's a team to watch out for, it's going to be Houston in the Big 12 this season. I'm once again taking the Cougars in a game that I believe they will win defensively against Arizona.
It's going to come down to the defense because I just watched the other Cougars, speaking of the Blue Cougars, as I call them, speaking of BYU, really struggle against Arizona. That Arizona defense, I know that some people said, well, they feasted on lesser competition. Well, just ask any BYU fan how that felt as they fell behind by 10 points and had to put together a pretty incredible rally to win that football game. That Arizona team is really, really solid, but I can't take anything away from Houston either because you and our good friend Parker have been really crowing about Houston. I've been impressed with the Red Cougars, as I call them, and I like that pick. It's a sneaky pick, but I will also say this: I think Arizona gets the W.
Wow. Okay. So Jake Hatch is going to balance it out a little bit here. Then my next pick, and again, I think defensively, Houston, and they still grade so well. Their analytics are awesome. Their EPA is incredible defensively. What could happen is Connor Wegman throws 2 interceptions. This final score flips. Houston loses by 3 or 7 in that event.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's like a 3-point margin.
Yeah, and that's what it could come down to is you can make mistakes against Oklahoma State like Houston did and still win by a lot. You can't do that against Arizona, and so that's where I do believe that Connor Wegman holds on to it. Connors, they established the run in this game. Houston does. They find a way to get it done at home in a noon Eastern game. UCF versus West Virginia. This is like William and Mary playing each other, like just William singular playing Mary singular. This is two teams that are still trying to figure a lot out. ESPN's FPI really favors UCF in this matchup. I think I do too. It's like the lesser of two bads. Yeah. I'm going to go with UCF -7.
I have watched West Virginia play quite recently against both Utah and BYU. I feel for Rich Rod. He is at a loss for how many injuries, and I feel bad for MP, speaking of Mountaineer Paul as well. The injuries have just decimated this West Virginia squad. I just think it's a lost season already, and I don't know how it's going to get kind of back on track, but I do think UCF rolls.
Yeah, this is a get-right game for UCF to me. Their loss to Cincinnati was close. They were not good offensively. It took the last-second touchdown to make it close, but still the defense wasn't terrible. Cincinnati's offense is really good. 20 points is efficient, especially when UCF's offense couldn't get it going. Kansas, that 27-20 loss, surprised me. And even that Kansas State game, they hung around. I don't think the spirit or the will is broken for UCF yet. And still, West Virginia's lead passer, not on the team anymore. So that's a big problem if you're in Morgantown. I don't think it bodes well for our friends, Rich Rodriguez and company. UCF gets the win. They move above 500 and closer to a bowl game. Now, Texas Tech, Arizona State. Are you so? Well, let's start here. I'm going to give you Texas Tech minus 9.5. This line has moved in Tech's favor a little bit after opening at 10.5 for the Red Raiders. Even if Sam Leavitt plays, Jake, I just think Texas Tech is that much better than anybody in the Big 12 right now. I'm going to ride the Red Raiders until they prove me otherwise.
I'm with you. Here's the thing. Texas Tech's offense is fun and it's really explosive in many respects, Drake. It's more about that defense. That defense is absolutely nasty. And I think Tech is they're all steam ahead towards college football playoff. If that defense continues to play the way it's playing right now, I won't be surprised if they make noise in the postseason in the college football playoff, because that defense can hold anybody down.
Yeah, this is also a 2 p.m. game in Tempe. We saw Texas Tech go on the road against Utah in a pretty hostile environment. I don't think they're going to see near what they got against Utah in Salt Lake from an atmosphere standpoint. And for Arizona State, a big piece of that is because they just lost 42-10. It's hard to get any fan base in the Big 12, kind of outside of BYU. It's hard to get any fan base to show up after you lose 42-10. That may very well be the case for Arizona State against Texas Tech this week. That's kind of a non-factor to me. And like you said, whether it's Will Hammond or Baron Morton, the defense of Texas Tech themselves could put up 10, 14 points. It'll put you in position to score 10 or 14 points this weekend. Give me the Red Raiders. Even if it's 34-20, we're covering the 9.5. And my final best bet, we already waxed poetic about most of this. I am going BYU money line against Utah. And I think the question comes up here, since we have given so much about this game and so much predictive, whether it's metrics or guys to watch out for, the question becomes, is this total disrespect? Do BYU fans feel disrespected that Utah is a 3.5 point favorite?
I don't necessarily think so. I think BYU fans have watched this team struggle in the most two recent games that they have played, and they found a way to win both of them, speaking of the Colorado game and obviously the Arizona game. And I think it's left Cougar fans wondering, okay, how good really is this squad? Are they just kind of scraping by right now? So I understand the apprehension. I can tell you this, though. I'm sure that the fact that they're a home dog is not lost on this BYU locker room. That is being talked about in this locker room, whether it's Kalani Sitake or his player leadership, the captains and the like. They are talking about it. The odds makers are disrespecting us. They're picking the Utes to come down here and win on our home turf. We are not about to let that happen.
Jake, last question I have for you here about that game. So if Baylor was coming to town, I think there's some shell shock when you walk into BYU for a night game, these Vampire Cougs. I've just got that gut feeling, the thing in the back of your head. You're like, you know what? I don't think Utah's going to have that shell shock. Is the crowd going to be a huge factor in this game?
No, here's the thing. Two of the best home environments in the Big 12, if not the two best home environments, reside in the state of Utah. Speaking of Rice-Eccles Stadium and LaVell Edwards Stadium, these two programs, these two fan bases, these two teams, they are used to playing in front of raucous crowds, especially when it comes to away and home. I don't think that's going to play that much of an effect in this one. I know that BYU, I think you threw it up earlier, they're 24-3 in their last 27 night games. So the numbers bear out that BYU wins more than 90% of those games at home. But if there is one of those games that I don't think it affects this one iota, it's this one, because I don't think Utah is going to be in shock and awe with what LaVell Edwards Stadium and the crowd is going to bring.
Jake, before we go, shout out Wild Ute, shout out Tara Gardner, shout out Alex Markham and Glass Half Ute. Shout out all of our Utah fans.
These are some of my homies. I think there's a lot of Cougar fans out there that ask me all the time, like, do you get along with Utah? I get along with a lot of Utah fans. And quite honestly, I grew up, I'll tell you this much. One of my closest friends growing up, Drake, he was about as dyed-in-the-wool Utah fan as you will literally ever find. He's still that to this day. He and I bickered all growing up. We'd walk to and from school arguing BYU versus Utah and why this and why that and why. It's been part of my everyday life, my entire life. I absolutely get along with my Ute brethren. I love it, and I'm looking forward to this game. It's one of my favorite games literally every single year.
Yeah. To Ivan, too. The list goes on here of the wonderful Utah fans.
JT Wistersill, Brian Brown. I should go down this. Steve Bartle, my compatriot at KSL Sports. We've got a lot of good people out there that I get along with very, very well.
Yeah. On top of that, it brings up, and I know we're at time here, Hannah Montgomery. 5th grade, she wrote an entire notebook worth of what were those called? They had the black and white dots on the outside. Composite book or something? You know what I'm talking about?
Composition book, yeah.
Composition notebook. She filled one with why Texas was better than Arkansas, and I was so mad. And a big piece of that was Mac Brown. And 2 weeks ago, when I got to sit down with Mac Brown for a half hour, I sent her a selfie. I was like, you know what? You were right. Mac Brown's a good coach, good guy, good coach after all. So it's all we all find a way to appreciate our rivals. Someday we all come around. Jake, where can folks find more of your work? I know it's a big week for you.
All things BYU. Check out Locked On Cougars wherever you get your podcasts. Also available on YouTube. If you want to check it out on social media, Locked On Cougars on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or you can follow me on social media on X or Twitter at Jacob C. Hatch.
Always fun. This has been, it always will be, Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. A crossover with Cougars and Dose Grande.